part 1 of my story. If you have a judgmental heart and the wrong spirit, this message is not for you. God wanted me to share my testimony to be an encouragement for someone else. I won't provide every detail, but I'll share enough to highlight where I went wrong, hoping that someone can learn from my mistakes. I'll begin with some information about the early stages of the relationship to illustrate the red flags I noticed but chose to ignore. It's important to remember I wasn't the healed version of myself then, nor born again in Christ Jesus. This is my testimony. It's important not to ignore the red flags. I've always had a big heart, but I didn't guard my heart like the great I Am wants us to do. My page will not focus on narcissistic abuse. I refuse to make that situation or person the central theme of this page or my life. This is solely my testimony. Okay, let's begin. We met on Match.com. I had just started a new position at an advertising agency, and most of my coworkers had profiles on Match and would come into the office and tell their stories about their dates. So I decided to create one as well to see who I could meet. I had just moved to a big city as a single mother of 3 children. I was separated and currently going through a divorce. Things were starting to improve in my life. I had just graduated from a 2-year college, moved into my new apartment, and was working out at the gym every day. I felt happy, and I could sense that God was blessing me during this time. Now, I had a history of not choosing the right men, which relates to how I was raised in childhood trauma. At the time, I was viewing things a lot differently in my mind. I made a deliberate choice to embrace a new approach to dating, stepping away from the patterns I had become accustomed to. I had chatted with a few men online and went on 2 dates, but nothing serious came of it. One day, I received a message from someone whose profile title included the word money. In the profile picture, he posed in a fur coat while sitting on top of a SUV, wearing Timberland boots, despite it being summertime. Red flag. Remember, narcissists carry demonic spirits. Satan sends them to kill, steal, and destroy. I'm like, Lord, who is this character? Remember, I was lukewarm with Christ then, but I always wanted to do the right thing for the most part. I also lacked a real support system from family. As the oldest of 10 siblings, I was the support for others in my family, but no one supported me. The people I needed support from the most never did. So I set out on a mission. It was me against the world to prove I didn't need anyone and I could do it all on my own. I wasn't initially attracted to him, and I could hardly see his face because it was blurred out of the picture. It was a simple short message asking my name, where I live, where I'm from, so on and so on. I responded against my better judgment. Red flags. So the following message, he asked me out on a date. I was like, should I go? I talked it over with one of my coworkers and decided to go. The first meet and greet, he brought me flowers up to my job with a teddy bear. I didn't want to go alone, so my coworker went with me. I finally got to see his face. I wasn't initially attracted to him, but he seemed very nice, so I tried not to be judgmental. I had discernment, but I wasn't listening to my discernment then. On our second date that weekend, we went to a Spanish restaurant with a nice view and great atmosphere. The food was excellent. After the date, he drove me home. The next day, he called me at work to take me to lunch. I noticed he was quite pushy in the beginning and was moving really fast. He came to my job and took me shopping during my lunch break and gave me gift cards. Red flags. I was hesitant to accept any of the gifts initially because we had just met and we didn't know each other. Something was telling me not to accept the gifts, but he insisted and wouldn't let me leave without them. So I accepted the gifts, and the love bombing had begun. Part 2 coming soon. Please like and subscribe. Love and blessings.